Ladies and gentlemen, the title of my presentation has been changed. Today, my short introduction is not going to be on the Internet of Things, but I wanted to share the report, some of the takeaways of the report that we are working on right now. And this report is going to, let's say, provide the picture of a Polish IT market, and we would like to show the threats, the challenges in the market. Of course, when it comes to the future development of this market. The report will be published towards the end of March. I'll give you full details on where you can find it. But today I would like to provide you with a broader context behind our data. So, in my short introduction, I would like to concentrate on the global situation. I would like to talk about our challenges and about our goals. As IDC, we have been talking about the digital transformation since 2007. We have been concentrating on those technologies that transform our life. In 2008, something happened. Until 2008, we were becoming more and more optimistic about the technology, and in 2008, after the autonomous car accident and after the Cambridge Analytica affair, we started asking questions. We had some doubts about whether there are only pros of the world of technology. Then we understood that we'll have to face more stringent regulation, especially when it comes to personal data protection. Then we had the GDPR. There were many social movements showing that we need to have more control and monitoring of data. Also, people became talking about some kind of digital tax. But that's the cover of The Economist from the last week. The Economist shows that big tech companies are doing great. So, 5 biggest companies, tech companies in the United States grew their turnover. The demand for technology is growing. And what's the situation like in Europe? In 2020, as we estimate, $271 billion are going to be spent on innovation in Europe. This means that investment in new technology is huge, but it will give us great opportunities. 16% of generated income out of investment, I think it's a lot. What we really need to understand is that we can create totally new ecosystems, totally new areas. So you can see that 16% of companies will be able to generate new sources of income thanks to investment. In Europe, we talk a lot about the future investments. The majority of companies, 93% of them, declare that they will increase investment in technology. There is yet another very important concept, data economy. This is a new model of economy. Coming back to our report, our recommendations to the barriers that we identified, you can get some inspiration on what's worth investing in and so forth. I guess that you have heard that data is the new oil, but data is a great resource. This kind of thinking is characteristic for the American economy. Another example of this kind of thinking about data is a characteristic of China. In China, data is common good. Data is used to better manage the social structure, to manage society. And then data creates new resource. And this new resource has to be monitored, has to be managed. This requires new institutions. So we are, let's say, the closest to this third model. And coming back to my report, I guess you might find this data interesting. We value the Polish ICT market at $19.19 billion. Of course, it's difficult to calculate, to account for all of the sectors, so we will be able to give you exact numbers by the end of this month. When it comes to IT in Poland, it's valued at 12.2 billion zloty, and the telecommunication market is valued at 6.9 billion. Here, you need new technologies and new investment to grow. This is a mature market. But here, we hope for the positive impact of the 5G. Skills. Talking about the market, we need to remember about the job market. And we need to remember about the skills gap. It is estimated that we lack about 500,000 jobs, 500,000 employees in Europe. We need people who specialize in cloud computing, in AI. Technologies change, systems change, and we lack skilled specialists. We need specialists. In Poland, it is estimated that we have a shortage of about 50,000 IT specialists. What's interesting? IT specialists account for 2.5% of those employed. So we are somewhere around European average, as the leaders employ 6% of their overall workforce in IT. Poland is on the 33rd place on the ranking of innovation, and in the report by the European Commission, when it comes to innovation, we were ranked at the very bottom. Very often customers ask us about technology adoption in Poland. And the strategy that we see in Poland is let us wait, let us see how it works, and then we'll implement it. In Poland, we don't see experimenting, we don't see risk-taking. We tend to wait for best practices. This is a safe strategy, but it doesn't help in building an innovative economy. The questions that we asked in our report were, among others, on barriers. And so what those barriers were? Lack of support for innovation. In the Silicon Valley, for example, the state supports innovation. And as you probably know, in ICT, we specify 3 phases. The first phase is experimenting with technologies. Not necessarily accounting for the risk. I had very interesting conversations with financial directors in big companies who said that they experimented using new technologies. They didn't think about possible benefits. So I would say that what we need is the state support. Then, coming back to barriers, financial barriers. Once again, especially from the perspective of startups, that are not many in Poland compared to other European countries. Startups need financial support, and then lack of standards. Recommendations. What should be done to make the situation better? The members of the Chamber of Commerce mentioned that we need more digital documents systems. And what's this? This is a black swan. Last year we were wondering about the future. We anticipated linear growth. But what if something unexpected happens? Are we ready for something unexpected to happen? Can our technology, can our strategy help us? Can we adapt in an agile way to a changing market, to a changing business environment? So that's all from my side. I hope that every crisis, every difficulty is also an opportunity. So I do encourage you to follow our report. The full version will be published by the end of this month.